Welcome back, Children of the Night, to another episode of the Infernal Archive. On this episode, we will be watching the 2010 Korean film, I Saw the Devil. Andrew, could you please read from the scroll of deploritude for us and give us the little Wikipedia blurb?
Yes, indeed. Scroll, why are you giving me grief? I Saw the Devil is Korean, and it's from 2010. It's a South Korean action thriller film directed by Kim Ji-woon and written by Park Hoon Young, starring Lee Byung-hun and Choi Min-sik. The film follows NIS agent Kim Soo-hyun, who embarks on a quest of revenge when his fiancée is brutally murdered by the psychopathic serial killer Jung Kyung-chul.
Of course.
Yes, I Saw the Devil premiered. It premiered in the United States at the 2011 Sundance Film Festival and had a limited theatrical release, only in the US though. The film received generally favorable reviews from the critics. I Saw the Devil was Choi Min-sik's first major role since the changes to the Korean screen quota system, of course.
Yes, of course, the Korean screen. I was actually reading about that a little bit. So I think they're actually instituting a similar thing in Canada where like Canadian streaming services and stuff have to have a certain amount of Canadian content or whatever. I don't know if it applies to our movie theaters, but in Korea anyways, what they'll have is you have to have a certain amount of Korean, Korean-made films in your theaters, and you have to display them for a certain amount of minutes. So I think it's a minimum of 6 films you have to show a year that are Korean, and then I can't remember what the amount of minutes is, but it's like, I guess you could do more shorter films or 6 longer, however, or have like longer screen times. Anyways, it's probably a good thing. Like I'm glad. I love Japanese cinema and I love a lot of international cinema. So I think that's probably good that countries make sure that like their own domestic films are being shown, because I don't want to live in a world where it's just Transformers all the time.
Yeah. The variety is nice for sure.
Okay, we are gonna go check out I Saw the Devil, and then we'll give you our thoughts when we're back.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Welcome back, Children of the Night. We just finished watching I Saw the Devil from 2010.
Not a whole lot to do with devils. I'm going to say it right off the bat.
No, there's not really any devils in the film.
A couple of freaking knuckleheads. But,
there were a couple of knuckleheads. Some guys doing stuff that's not great for polite society. No. I'll say, like, I didn't love this movie. It was... I don't know. It felt like a guy, somebody started writing, and then they were like, okay, here's a very traditional setup for a revenge film plot. Like, hey, my girlfriend got killed, and therefore I want to go after the murderer, and I want to enact my revenge. But then, like, probably after the first, 10, 15 minutes, where you're like, oh, this is good, this is what's going to happen. The whole movie's going to be about him finding the killer and getting him and then enacting his revenge and whatever. It's like the guy who wrote it was like, ooh, what would they not expect to happen? And then he kept writing stuff that's not a twist, not super interesting, like a crazy twist or a crazy flip on a traditional narrative would be. It was more like, well, this is kind of the not obvious direction this plot could go, and it kind of kept doing that, but to the point where it was like, this is sort of defying logic at this point, and why are we doing this?
Like, we're an hour in. This doesn't spoil anything really. We're an hour in, and he's already just about basically got the killer narrowed down.
Yeah.
Like tracked them down.
Yeah.
And we're not even halfway through the film, and it's like, where are we gonna go from here? I thought this whole thing was gonna be, and we're already approaching what I assume is the climax.
It's like if you watch Taken, but he finds his daughter 45 minutes into the movie, and then you're like, I thought the whole thing was finding the daughter.
Fucking that Family Guy thing. Home Alone with competent robbers, and the kid's upstairs is like, you guys can't get me, and then he just pulls out a gun and shoots him in the face.
Yeah.
And he's like, no witnesses.
Hey, be careful, there's cars on the floor here.
Thanks. That's weird, huh?
Yeah, the doorknob was really hot, but I just let go instead of holding onto it.
And there's some ice on the stairs to the basement, so I guess just don't go down there.
Just so you guys know, I have a tarantula.
Well, now there are no witnesses.
It's a lot like that. Because it's like in this film, it's funny too because the murderer. So what you assume is going to happen is like, oh, he's going to have to look for evidence, and there's going to be all this work to try to figure out who murdered. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He's a cop. He's like a special agent. He goes and he like right at the beginning. So it's his fiance that gets killed. Right away, he goes to the cop shop. He goes into the database. He's like, okay, these 4 guys are all wanted for, or like
these are our 4 top suspects. So he starts going down the list and like just beating the fuck out of these guys until he finds which one. There's evidence that it's like, okay, this is the guy.
Yeah.
I found her ring at this guy's house. He's the fucking guy.
Just like so brutally effective. Like it just like very quickly resolved. And then like we said, it's like you're like, okay, so we caught him. Now are we just gonna watch him torture the guy for 2 hours? Or like, yeah. And kind of. So then out of some misplaced sense of like fairness, I guess, our protagonist, the guy who's hunting down the murderer, he's like, I'm gonna catch him and then injure him like a little bit, and then I'm gonna let him go.
And then let him go.
And then catch him again. But the thing is, the guy he's trying to like enact his revenge on is a fucking psychopath. Like a Jeffrey Dahmer, Manson, like crazy guy. Not the type of guy that you want to let go once you've caught, like a Joker type of
like every time he lets him go, some person or people are either murdered or like
pays the price. Yeah, it's like
terrible things happen.
Yeah, and it's our protagonist's fault, like 100%.
100%.
You very quickly lose all sense of empathy, or like you're not rooting for our protagonist because you're like, you have him. Do what anyone else would do. Well, or like
kill him or turn him into the police.
Lock him in a cage and tase him for 18 days. I don't know, fuck it, whatever. Torture him if you want to, but what is this shit where you're allowing him to enact more damage? And then the thing is, like, he hurts him, but it's like kind of like the first time it's like, oh, he kind of beats him up a little bit, then he lets him go. Second time he cuts his Achilles tendon and whatever and lets him go, and it's like, that sounds fucked up, but it's like, this man chops people into bits. Like, he's a fucked up individual. He is not, an Achilles tendon cut is not comparable. Like, he needs more. And anyway, so the whole time you're watching this movie and you're just like, you're invested kind of because it's exciting and it's like, okay, and also very odd. This movie like combines genres. So it's horrific in the sense that there's like people being murdered in these terrible ways, but then it's
lots of gore and like fucked up. You see people chopped up and like,
and so that shit is genuinely like, and like Saw level, like horrific, like just, this is fucking
horror. Yeah, horrible.
But then they'll just interject action, like Rush Hour level action into this movie. Like,
oh yeah,
like they're flipping and they're climbing stuff and it's like, what am I watching? It's kind of like, it reminded me a little bit, but I felt like this genre mixing was really well done to a degree. But if you've seen the film Malignant, there's this the film is very like traditional horror, and then there's this scene in a police department towards the end of the film, which is like John Wick levels of action. Like, it's so fucking good. And you're like, what the fuck am I watching? Why is this amazing action sequence in this movie? And this action doesn't like rise to those levels, the one in Malignant, because the Malignant one is so good that you can't help but love it. Whereas this was just like, I feel like I'm watching a Rush Hour film. Like, Chris Tucker could come out at any point and like say something to Jackie Chan. It would be like, oh yeah, this is silly and whatever.
My daddy'll kick your daddy's ass all the way from here to China, Japan, wherever the hell you from, and all up that Great Wall, too.
Don't talk about my father.
Don't talk about my daddy.
It was entertaining, I'll say that. Like, I was entertained.
The effects were all really, really well done and
really good.
Made you like cringe, like lots of like stuff getting stabbed, body parts being chopped up, and people getting stabbed in weird places with weird stuff, and it makes you look away because it's just so brutal and intense.
Yeah, I think I said, like, it's not a film that I ever need or feel like I want to see again. I didn't regret watching it. Like, I found it entertaining and stuff, but it was just like, it's one of those movies where I was reminded a little bit tonally of Old Boy, which is like another Korean film. And Old Boy to me is like a really brilliant package. Like, from beginning to end, it has a theme, it has a message it's trying to present, and it
does that effectively by the end of the film.
And its plot unfolds in an unexpected way, but in a way to me that it's like, it's unexpected.
It still makes sense though.
Yeah, and at the end of it, you're like, oh, I see how this all is like part of the same picture. This film is unexpected, but to the detriment almost of the message of the film. Like, at the
feels
end,
very jumbled and very it feels like they were going, like figuring out as they went along, rather than like they had someone had a clear vision and a clear thought as to what they wanted to do with the plot and the message. And
it's like Stephen King has said, like if you read about him and his writing process, he says that like he lets the characters tell him what's next. So he doesn't write with a specific ending in mind. He like writes and then the characters and then whatever. Eventually it'll get to a point where he's like, okay, this is the ending. This film felt like that. Whereas Stephen King, I think because of the way his brain works, thematically his stuff always feels very intertwined and everything feels necessary and this is all great or whatever. This film felt like how Stephen King says he writes, but obviously there's this huge portion of Stephen King which is his brain, and like he is able to, even if it's subconsciously, he knows that stuff has to be important and has to be necessary, and you can't just do random character development. Whereas this film felt like, now we're going to the house of a cannibal because it's something, and it's like
it's like I love the film Zombieland.
Yep.
But the whole like, why the fuck would you go to a goddamn carnival in the middle of a zombie, like a amusement park? Like, why? Because there's gonna be a bunch of cool action sequences.
It'll look cool, yeah.
Like narratively, it's like a very, very shaky ground of like, but she never got to be a kid, so we're gonna take her there. Like,
it's like really, seems like a bad idea.
Seems like a really bad idea.
Yeah. And this film is like that, where it's
Yeah.
like there's these instances in that many times where you're like, why? You have him? Just put him in a cage.
And then there's a cool action sequence. And you're like, okay, this is engaging and interesting. But why are we here? All like, okay,
how did we get here?
You caught him 2 times, and now he's just waking up. You're just gonna let him go under a bridge now
again,
and hunt him down and do the same thing
It's
over
like,
and over again.
There's this part because he lets him go. I think a grand total of 3 times, right?
Yes, yeah.
And he should have learned his lesson after the first time. But anyways, the 3rd time, the murderer, obviously, he's also being like, why the fuck does this guy keep letting me go? Like, whatever. And he gets wise because he's like, how does this guy keep finding me? He must have a tracker, obviously. So he's like, how would he? Oh, tracker. So he pukes up the tracker, and he's like, okay, well that solves that problem. He like gets rid of the tracker, and then our fucking protagonist has the gall when the murderer is like, hey, I found out where the tracker is.
Surprise Pikachu face.
Yeah, and the guy's like, oh god, he found the tracker. It's like, of course he found the tracker. You think he's not thinking? Like he's just gets like, what?
This guy's been
use your brain.
He's been a serial killer, effective serial killer, evading the law for like years.
Probably
is the
decades,
implication. Yeah. But a tracker in his stomach is gonna stump him after you let him go 3 fucking times. Like
he's gonna start like
connecting the dots.
Here.
Yeah.
Like, the synapses are gonna start firing.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, like I said, I don't think it's not entertaining, and thematically, I do think it's interesting. Like it's a basic plot. Like I don't think it spoils anything. But the film is just about, hey, revenge isn't good. It's unsatisfying.
No one wins when you seek revenge.
Yeah, and it's like the thing is, you think because the plot starts delving into these weird places that you're like, oh, maybe it's gonna have some other thematic weight, but it's like, no, that's the beginning. That's the message. That's the message at the ending.
Yeah,
and it's just a really weird way to get around to that.
And we definitely didn't need 2.5 hours of this.
No.
It felt very indulgent.
Also, like our protagonist does some like borderline sociopathic shit, and I don't mean just like fucking up the murderer and stuff. Like whatever, that's you kill him. He killed your wife. You go to town, sir. But like the murderer has a family. I'm just fuck it. You're not gonna see this film. The murderer has a family. He's got a son
who hate him.
Yeah, they don't like him. He's got a son and he's got parents. And they are not involved with the murder at all. They are blameless. They are innocent in this whole fucking thing.
They even give up his location.
Totally. And then
they give our protagonist exactly what he asks the first time they ask.
And then the fucking our protagonist at the end, because obviously our murderer isn't making it out of this fucking thing, but like he basically implicates the murderer's innocent family
in his death.
In a death, and it's like, why? These people did nothing to you. I don't.
And the murderer was dead by the time the family was involved, really.
Yeah. They just had to see his severed head on the ground and traumatize this fucking like 9-year-old kid. It was just like, why?
Who is this for, sir?
What did you
do? You feel, and then he cries at the end. He cries.
He has the gall. Yeah, he has the fucking nuts on him to fucking cry. It's like, fuck you. You just traumatized. There are so many people in this film that are traumatized directly because of your actions. Like,
Yeah.
You don't cry.
No.
You don't cry at the end of this film. Not my film, sir. Not my South Korea. How fucking dare you? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not entertaining, and it was a fun watch, but it just like thematically, dude, and like logically, it felt so muddled and weird.
If there was a way to just watch clips of this movie and see like the effects and see some of the action sequences, I would say like absolutely watch that. Like highlight reel almost of the film, because that's the part that's worth watching. Is the plot is whatever, the performances are okay, like they're pretty good actually.
Yeah, I thought they were good.
Performances were good, but you don't need to watch the whole 2.5-hour movie to get.
No.
You could watch probably like a 15 or 20 minute highlight reel and get all the interesting parts.
I bet if somebody remade this movie and was like, I'm gonna now go in and make this,
tighten it up.
Yeah, like I'm gonna make this make sense to a degree, like not just have plot points that feel like kind of random. I bet this could be an interesting film because it has interesting characters and an interesting setup, and like there's a lot interesting there. It's all put together in a way that feels random. Like it doesn't feel like there was a mind that was like thinking about how is this connected.
No, it was
to this?
it was so cheesy, but it was a film that I think did the theme better. Law Abiding Citizen with Gerard Butler.
Totally.
It's cheesy. It's got that kind of like mastermind enacting an evil plan.
Yeah.
Kind of
I
tone,
love that movie. It's
great.
Very
It's
entertaining.
and works. And
yeah, thematically.
Thematically, beginning to end, it makes sense.
Yep.
And
yep.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, totally. Watch Law Abiding Citizen. You'll have a better time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure these filmmakers have made stuff that's good. I just don't like this film's got. I feel like it's got like an 80-some% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like it's like I'll have the Rotten Tomatoes score flash up here. I don't know, man. I'd give it a high 60s, maybe like low 70s. Like a lot of the technical filmmaking is really good, but fuck, the writing is just all over the place.
To me, the technical aspects of this film are what save it.
Yeah.
And why I would give it like a 6.5, maybe.
Yeah, totally.
65, because the effects work and the action sequences are so effective that like I can't totally write it off, but.
And it's just, I'm gonna say, like I think this melding of action and horror just doesn't really play well. It's just
in this context it doesn't.
It's too much action that distracts from the horrific elements and kind of like it almost feels like it makes light of the horrific elements, and like you don't take them as seriously, and like I don't know, just I saw the devil. I don't know. Alrighty, we're gonna pull up the wheel of destitution and
destitution,
homelessness, the real terrors of society.
Oh, we need to careful. Don't grab it
by the spike that I broke.
Yes.
I break a lot of stuff. Okay, here we go. Okay, and what will the wheel select for?
Jesus Christ.
Excuse me, audience. What will the wheel select for us on the next episode of the Infernal Archive? I'm a Dark Lord. I don't have manners. Oh, shit. Alrighty, on the next episode of the Infernal Archive. Oh, Andrew, you're in luck. Downrange from 2017.
Hell yeah, I'm excited about Downrange.
Yes, we know. You said you kind of briefly know the.
Yeah, so the plot of this one, very very roughly off the top of my head. I don't even have to scroll to consult today. Downrange is a film about a group of people who are being stalked by an unseen sniper.
Yeah, it's the one you've been looking forward to.
Yeah,
this season.
It seems very, based on the one line, it's like this could be really really well done and intriguing and interesting, or it's gonna kind of flop and like
not work,
not be effective, or it'll be really effective. So
there's actually I can't remember which VHS, but the VHS those what do you fucking
Anthology.
Anthology. I can never remember that fucking word. Anthology film VHS. I can't remember if it's 84 or 94, one of them, 88 or 94. But there's a short film actually in one of those where it's a very similar plot, but it's very short. But these kids are all on a boat on vacation on spring break, and then they're just in their boat like having a good time. Then they all get fucking picked off on this boat, and it's so good, like really fantastic, because how like you just think in your brain
it's just
like,
all
what if that
sudden
happened to you?
Yeah,
like that could happen, and then they ruin it because they do a two-parter and it's fucking terrible. But that part of that is good. So if Downrange, which sounds like a full feature film version of that, is like that, I'll fucking love it, because that is a terrifying premise for a movie. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Infernal Archive, and we will catch you next time when we watch Downrange from 2017.